Okay, so we're round about halfway through the off season, so it seemed like a very good opportunity to catch up with Mr. Bristol, MD, owner, does everything else of Bristol Pitbulls, Richie Hargreaves. Richie, first of all, let's not talk about hockey initially. It's the summer season. Do you get a chance to relax at all?
What's that? Do we get time off? Absolutely not. I mean, it's Saturday and I'm in the office. That explains everything. So we wish, we try and juggle our lives around hockey a little bit. But as you know, off season is a busy one, rebuilding and following up sponsors and partnerships and raising the awareness of the Pitbulls. So busy, and we do find a little bit of a life in between there.
Good, good. Make sure you do. So it has been a couple of months now since the season finished. So a chance maybe to reflect now the dust has settled on a season where I think there was a lot of positives, both on and off the ice. I think, Barry and Tony came in and tried to generate a culture which us volunteers saw and admired. There was some good individual performances and guys like Owen Smetham really showing their potential. But at the same time, Richie, it was another year without playoffs. So how do you reflect on last season?
Yeah, I mean, disappointing, obviously, not making the playoffs again. I really felt Christmas time we had the team to be able to push to get into that playoff spot. For some reason or another, the wheels fell off the wagon there. We had some injury problems, a couple of suspensions started creeping up on guys, maybe frustration because we weren't doing as well as what we hoped to, and ultimately we lost out. In credit to the league, I thought the league was a lot better, and unfortunately, where we ended up probably doesn't justify how well we played during the course of the season. And ultimately someone has to finish at the bottom, and it was us this year. So, although that the league says that's where we stand, I like you mentioned, I definitely feel there was a lot more pros. Another year for those core players at developing this level. We definitely seen the likes of Els and Mo and Mason and come out their shell a little bit more and play a little bit more responsible. Like you said, again, an opportunity for Reece Smetham, a kid that has moved away, learned more of his hockey away in Canada there, come back, and he was a bit of an unknown, and he proved his worth. So he was quite a pleasant surprise for us and logged some serious minutes at the end there. And likewise, the imports and some of the guys, I felt the guys handled themselves well. I think we're disappointed as a group, but it's a long season, it's a hard season, and unfortunately a few obstacles in our way, i.e. injuries and suspensions, ended up being our downfall. So we've got to take the positives out of that and move on and build, and hopefully that's what we're doing this summer with some exciting signings.
You can tell it's my off season. Reece Smetham, not Owen Smetham, who was lighting the lamp last year. Just
I'm
before we
surprised
go,
I got that right.
Yeah. Sorry, one of us had to. Let's just before we go into this summer, because I think there's a lot of exciting stuff going on, and some stuff you can tell us, some stuff you can't. But hopefully we can give a flavour to the Pitbulls fans. But just tidying up the end of last year, yes, we finished bottom, but the Pitbulls faithful was fantastic, selling out that building every night. But that doesn't just happen. That's work that you and Jen are doing in the community. You also brought Libby on board as marketing manager. So whilst the on-ice product is the most important thing, there is a lot of work going on off the ice.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's a small side of it, is what people see is that product on the ice there. And like you mentioned, me and Jen are like octopus arms here. We're everywhere. And raising awareness of the brand is massive. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I stepped back from coaching and kind of let the boys get on with building teams and stuff like that, was because I knew how big the project was at hand, with settling roots in the city and getting out and about and raising the profile of the sport. So, I think we're in good, capable hands now. We've had 4 years of doing this. We've got people coming on board now that are going to help continue to develop and push us in the right direction. Jen, like you mentioned, does a good job. She does pretty much everything now, and I can sit back and enjoy a little bit more of the on-ice product and the hockey side of it. and likewise Libby, you know, she's excited, she's fun, she's in the community, she's active on those emails, and results of that is very positive for the city, and some of the connections and partnerships which are coming on board is brilliant. And you know, I think as a big fan of hockey, obviously, and someone that's grown up appreciating, especially back more when I was playing back in the sort of 90s, we did have that kind of rugby culture where it was, you know, interaction and very much involvement with the fans, and I think that's a big part of why we are having so much success is that the club is so approachable, and you know, and a big result of that is the events that we do, and everyone's there, and they're bugging us for another one, and you know, which is great. So there's a want and need for us, but so I'm happy where the organisation and the business is going in regards to fan engagement and raising awareness in the city. So I think what we've done behind the scenes has been really, really complimentary. We just need to get that on ice product right now, and I think we'll be a complete winner.
So let's go to on ice, and you know, you've made a lot of quality signings so far. Probably can't go through them one by one, but Pitbulls fans might have been sitting there at the start of the summer thinking, you know, another year perhaps where we haven't made the playoffs. What's Richie? What's the club going to do differently? Maybe you needed to make a statement signing. Well, your first two, you brought in a two-time elite winner in Josh Batch, and you brought in the league's top scorer in Jake Bricknell. As statement signings go, those two must excite you.
Yeah, you know, brilliant people as well as signings for us as well. So you know, it's important. I did say originally when we started this that it would take time to build. We have to prove year in, year out that this is a stable environment to be in for players to put their trust in it, which we've done now. We've got the fans, which are fantastic and very, very loyal. Everything in place is here to be able to bring guys with caliber like that in now. And I guess it's a trust thing. You know, what we've got to remember is that, you know, we're in a situation where we're a little bit behind most teams, where we're growing something. We don't really have the what's the word I'm trying to think of? We don't really have the
pipeline of juniors are coming up and things like that. Yeah,
exactly. So it was always going to take time, and you know, although that they're cooking in the background there, they're still a little bit way off. You know, and you know, this kind of stuff was put in place with these sort of players a little while ago, and you know, we engaged with them, and they said, "Give me time. Let me finish what I'm doing. We'll come and speak to you after." You know, and true to their word, they did. And like you said, it's a good starting point. You know, Batchy is going to be a big difference for us on the back end there. You know, I don't need to go up and down his resume there and what he's done in British ice hockey, and I think the club deserves something big to start with, and you can't get any bigger than a 6'4" defenseman there with the experience that he brings. And again, with our young core, I think he'll obviously be that calming influence with it as well, and eat some big minutes when we need him to. So I'm excited about working with Batchy. He's excited about, you know, offering you know, his experience to these players and working with those guys to make us a better team. So, you know, we're looking forward to him being on board, and likewise, you know, Jake. You know, I sit there and think about the imports that we bought in over the years, and we have actually bought some very good overseas players in. If you know, look back at the Sobs and the Feezies and even Nick Price last year and Mitch, you know, these are all good players that we've had, and you know, and Jake's again's another one. He's a proven player at this level. You know, 57 goals I think it was, and led the league there with Swindon, and you know, has got some elite league experience again, something that we need in this club because of the age of the group, and you know, we're excited to have him on board as well. And you've got a top pairing there with Batchy and Jake, hopefully leading the way. So we're excited, and I think it's nothing more than what the fans deserve, is to show that we are working hard behind the scenes to correct and make sure we don't have another season like we did last year.
I don't think I'm breaking any trade secrets when I say that maybe Rich, you're taking more of a an interest, or interest is the wrong word, but maybe more of a role in team building this year, along with other important decision makers at the club. Would it be fair to say, Rich, and you've been kind enough to keep me in the loop a little bit as to what's going on, that you're trying to make this team a little bit bigger and a little bit more experienced?
Yeah, again, I've been around the game for a long time, so why not use my experience as well? And being able to call upon people that I've played on in the past to have good advice of some of the players that we've signed. Max is a good example. Blake Sorensen, I don't know if you remember him from back in the day, and
I do.
good chat about him, so some great references. And I feel like getting involved more, and I haven't been able to do that. I've been more of a yes man the last couple of years. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, sounds good, because I've been focused on doing other things. And like I said, the bits are in place now for me, able to offer more experience in this department, so I can help build. And and likewise. And one of the things I did notice last year, and we touched on it already, was the injuries. And it's a long season, and kind of looking at the squad that we're building, the guys that we're bringing in a little bit more robust, bigger, being in those long playoff battles as well. So they've played a lot of hockey, and they're a bit more like men. Do you know what I mean? Where the last couple of years we've kind of been young and fast, but we've run into injuries and whatever. So I'm trying to build something a bit bigger for the duration of the season, along with some experience there. So, I mean, we're doing a good job at the moment. We've signed some beasts, I'll be honest with you, and I'm looking to make the Pound a very hard place to come and play.
I suppose what those slightly more experienced players bring is I think it's fair to say last year when the guys were good, they were very good, but consistency was a key problem. You didn't know what you were going to get, well, shift by shift, let alone night by night. Experience tends to lead to more consistency.
Yeah, absolutely, and they hold the guys accountable, and I'm a big believer, and this is no disrespect to the rest of the team or the coaching staff. Nick Price was very good at that, and I felt that when we lost him at Christmas time, that was a big hole to fill. And that's no disrespect to Mitch. Mitch is a different type of player, but what Nick also brought in that changing room was an honest effort from everyone. And we kind of, when we lost that, we kind of derailed a little bit, and like you said, we couldn't find that consistency, and then other issues, injuries and stuff started playing their part. And I that was definitely an area that I wanted to address this year, was leadership and consistency, and that mentality is always set the right way. And like I said, we've gone and got these experienced players, the Batchies, the Jakes, and Jay King, bringing him back. He's had years, and he was very good when he came in and really helped us last year. So it was important that we got the right mix this year, so that, like you said, we can stay on track and we can stay focused. So I'm excited with the players that we continue to announce a bit further down the line. Again, that'll add to what I'm trying to say to you guys now, and yourself, and I think you'll see that we might be a little bit different on paper this year, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be consistent.
Do you think it's a four-line game this year in the NIHL?
Absolutely, and again, I get to watch it. Obviously, being down at ice level there, and it's not just a case of doing the announcing. I'm actually in there going, "Oh, dump the puck, shit." I feel like play by play, I'm doing it myself in there, and what I have noticed is, the league, because of the pace and the size of these guys, and I think if the teams that can use and utilize four lines will go on to have great success. And I think a good example is MK and Leeds. They have a lot of faith in their third and fourth liners, and they come up at key moments, and obviously keep the other guys, their top nine, on their toes. So I very much want to go down the same route. We've tried to go down the same route. This year I've brought in the likes of Owen and Smedden and Dawson. They're young guys, but well structured, been in an environment where they've had to always like learn and progress and but also understand what's asked from them. And I think this year, especially with the type of players we're bringing in, will be more role players and pushing each other. So a little bit more structure within our setup, and hopefully we'll be able to play a four-line, fun, exciting hockey brand to watch.
Like we said near the top, we can't go through every in, and we also can't go through every out. But there was an out announced yesterday that probably deserves a mention. Elliot Lewis, forget about the hockey, just a great human being. Really did engage with the community, engage with the fans, engaged with us as volunteers. Was a really good kind of ally for you, promoting the club. Great skater and just full of energy on the ice. He's had an opportunity. He put a great video up last night, I thought, speaking very honestly. But he's not going to be a Pitbull. The Pitbulls will cope, but we wish Elliot Lewis all the best.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's like letting your kid go, isn't it, really? And Els has been a part of the woodwork here, and it's a tough one. You've got to let them spread their wings and go and take the opportunity and here at the club. And I think I put that as a statement. We're all about the next step and the opportunities. And I don't think we'll be doing our job if we're holding them back. So, like you said, Els is a character. He's exactly what we needed for the club that we are building. Again, fan favorite, engaging, funny, approachable, and all these things that helps you build an organization and leaves people leaving events or the rink smiling because he's been a big part of their night and stuff like that. It's going to be tough. He's definitely a character in the room. But for 3 years he's been great. I think maybe a little bit of a different direction with someone else trying to help him progress and develop, will make him a better player. And hopefully it's not the door shut, and we might see him again in the future, and he can bring back that experience and help us again as a club. So I wish nothing but the best. We still speak. We spoke yesterday on the phone as if he was still here, and that's the kind of relationship I have with my players and people that are involved with us. So we've opened our arms and said, look, if you need anything, by all means, drop us a text or a call, and we want you to be successful, even if it's not with us. So wish him nothing but the best, and he's been a very, very good role model to this club, and hopefully wherever he goes next, he will continue that and be a great human being.
I think you and I could do about 2 hours of this. I promise only a couple more, but this is great insight. And sort of my next question follows on from that about Elliot, and this is not necessarily specific about Elliot. And I also don't want to talk down to the fans at all, but I remember growing up in Cardiff when Cardiff were formed in '86. You thought when you were a new fan base, a young fan base, you thought the players there in the first and second season were going to be there, for the next 20 years. You're a GM of a club where lots of good things have happened, but you haven't made the playoffs yet. There comes a time where you have to be a little bit more ruthless.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I could probably find 22 best friends to play on an ice hockey team, but reality is we're a performance-based business, and we've got to get results. And if we can find a happy medium, and these guys are around a long time and achieving or being a part of our success, then fantastic. That's in no way, shape, or form Elliot's fault that we didn't make it, but we are lucky that these guys come to our organization and are a big part of the process, and they can leave here being better people or learning something, and people can always remember them as a big part of this. And unfortunately, you have to be ruthless in what we do, and it's nothing personal. The guys that come and go, and we've had some really good, really nice characters, in the past, and but if we're going to be successful, we've got to keep moving forward, and moving forward might be with the current squad or might not be with the current squad, and everyone understands that if they're a sports fan, and every sport's the same, and we've got to find ways to win and fight and give ourselves the best opportunity to win. And we've got to look to strengthen areas and all sorts. So again, we wish all the players that have been here all the best, and no doubt the relationships are still great with us, and maybe one day they'll brush our paths again. But for now, we've got to find ways to get into the playoffs and have success. So, like you said, it's unfortunate people come and go, and that's the nature of the game.
Last two, I promise. This is the last one specifically on the Pitbulls. I know that you. Again, you've been kind enough to let me a little bit in the loop. I know that there's a lot of forward planning coming on. You're not, how do I put this? You're not scratching around for players. There are announcements to come. This team building is in an advanced stage, and I think without mentioning names, there's a lot for the Pitbulls fans to be excited about.
Yeah, agreed. And it's what it's what they deserve. We've pushed, we've been on the edge, we've lost out. And I want to make sure that that's not the case. I did say this about 4 or 5 years ago. It's a 5-year plan. We're coming around now, and I'm a winner. I've always been a winner in everything I've done, and teams I've played for, and I want to make the playoffs like the next person. And there's some good stuff going on behind the scenes and exciting times, and I really feel that this year we're going to be a strong side that we're going to be putting out on the ice there. So, all I can say is to the fans is, we'll see you in September, and let's cheer the boys like we've done the last 4 years, and hopefully that will reward you with some nice surprises. So, I'm excited about it. These guys that are coming in are excited, and like I said, it's nothing less than our fans deserve.
Yeah, I consider myself half fan, half volunteer. From what you've told me, I'm excited. So yeah. Final one, Rich. Just a league in question, or a league in general question. We've talked about the fact the league's going from strength to strength in terms of the quality. It has gone up by one import this year. I know there's been some negative talk about that, but it gives depth, and it gives a chance for the British players to develop with these quality imports. And just your thoughts on, it's great to see the Bison back, and they've got solid ownership there now with Steve Nell and the like. But sad to see the Bees temporarily being mothballed. So a positive and a negative there.
Yeah, I mean, touching on the import first, it's great, especially for a club like us, because again, when last season, we were rooting around trying to find a British guy to help us get us into the playoffs, and they were hard to come by, and everyone settled there ramping up for the playoffs, and no one was really on the market there. If an import was an option, maybe we'd have made the playoffs last year. We can find them everywhere. So I think for the game, it's great for. I think for British kids, I mean, some people will be probably disagree with me, but I actually think I learned a lot playing with Canadians and European players, and developed my game, and it made me keep myself on my toes as well. So, I don't think there's any harm in raising the import quota there. I think it will improve and complement the league that's already strong. I think, again, it'll raise the bar a little bit more there. And it becomes interesting then, because it becomes about management and how you pick guys up, and how your team wants to look, and which is quite interesting as a person to follow other teams and how they look at their approach and stuff like that. So I think for the league in general, it'll be great, and definitely adds more value to what we had last year. So yeah, and then moving on to the Bison,
the Bison and the Bees. It's a swap, and it's sad to see the Bees go, but hopefully they'll come back stronger. But the Bison are looking good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Bison there. I had 3 stints for them. It was always nice to see them and hear them come back in the league. They were a great outfit for the last 20, 30 years that they were there, and and had a lot to offer. So it's nice to get them back on board and back into the league here. And again, I think they're going to be a tricky place to go, like they were before they left, and they're putting together a good team there also. So I'm happy for those for the organisation. Steve obviously does a great job with Swindon and Leeds, so no doubt they're going to be very competitive and run very well. So I'm happy for those guys to be back, and like you say with the Bees, it's sad, especially with their history. To have to pull out late notice there, and but we don't understand purely what goes on behind the scenes, a little bit more than just what you see on the ice there. So again, Graham and the ownership group are very, very good people, very nice people, and I wish them nothing but the best in their situation, and hopefully it'll only be a season out so they can regroup there. So luckily for us, Bison coming in and it keeps it a 12-team league there, so not much will change in respect to the structure. And the Bees, most of the guys have gone to Basingstoke, I've seen so far, so they've got a place to play as well. So it's not really a win-win situation, but at the moment it's at least no one's out out of pocket kind of thing with regards to guys not going anywhere. So we look forward to the Bison coming back and seeing what they have to offer come September, and hopefully it will make it to an exciting league as what it's been the last couple of years, so if not better.
I promise there'd be no more, but there's one more for the fans. I think nothing's set in stone yet, but I think you've got some more events kind of in mind during the off season, maybe even a fans forum, so that the fans will start being able to get together again pretty soon.
Yeah, this is why I don't have weekends off. This is exactly why. But it's a nice situation to be in. I think Batchy came down to our abseil one a couple of weeks ago. And I mean, we've built this culture here, we've built this club here, and it's really about a family. And when we do these events as late notice or as much planning as we have, we always get a very good reception, and these fans are so engaged with us, and it's just nice. It's nice to know that it's not always just about hockey. You bring people together and you're enjoying or showing the same interest, and some of the events that we've done over the course of the years is also fun. You get to see the boys outside their comfort zone as well, and relate to them. They're only human, they're approachable, and I think that's been a big part of our success actually is how well we've been received with thinking outside the box. I joke and laugh. I was speaking to Jen, and we started an ice hockey team, and now I feel like an events coordinator and fest in all this sort of stuff. But we wouldn't have it anyway. Our kids love it, and it's great seeing other kids, in coming up and enjoying these sort of things as well. So, keep your eyes peeled on our social media pages. I'm sure there's going to be lots. And then we're out in Bradley Stoke on the 7th, aren't we? 7th of June. Yeah. Doing something down there, and we're teaming up with Avon and Somerset Police, and to help some kids make life choices, but and get into hockey and schools and all sorts. We're super busy, so which is great for us, and spreading the word and raising awareness, just like I said in the interview. So keep your eyes tuned. I'm sure there'll be a fans forum coming up. Maybe a nice way to announce a couple of guys as well. So yeah. So I look forward to seeing all those Bleed Blue faithfuls and fans, and maybe having a burger and a beer to enjoy the summer with. So so look forward to that.
That is it, I promise. You're a busy man, Rich. You're in the office on a Saturday. We'll let you get back. You've got to edit it now, so whether it's a one piece or you put it in two parts, but I think it's great for the fans to hear a real catch up of what's going on. So try and get out and enjoy the rest of your Saturday, but we'll speak to you real soon.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for your time as always, and look forward to seeing you shortly and the fans. Take care. Thank you for your time.